Hello, fifth graders. This is Mr. James with Week 10, Day 1. We're only going to be reading for 2 days today. You only have two reading videos because you're only going to read one text. And then after that, you're going to refer back to the previous three texts, previous five texts to help you answer those questions for days 3, 4, and 5. So there will only be two videos. Don't be confused by that. Understand that it's all part of the plan. So today we're going to read pages 1 through 10 of the Judicial branch, and then we'll talk about what you're going to do for your writing this week. Please make sure you have your text or you're following along.
The Judicial Branch, written by Kelly Richards. Focus question. What is the Judicial Branch responsible for, and how does it protect citizens of the United States? The Rule of Law. In 1951, a group of African American parents brought a lawsuit against the school district in Topeka, Kansas. They were suing on behalf of their children, including third grader Linda Brown. Topeka schools were segregated. Black children were not allowed to attend school with white children. The case, Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, went all the way to the United States Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the top court in the United States. In 1954, the court voted in favor of ending legal school segregation across the country. It was an important victory in the struggle for equal rights for African Americans. This legal case is an example of the judicial branch of the United States at work. This branch of government watches over the country's courts and legal system. It interprets and enforces the laws that guide our government and society. The Constitution and the Judicial Branch. In 1788, American leaders adopted the Constitution. It laid out a system of laws and principles to govern the young country. This system has changed over time, but is still in use today. The Constitution splits the federal government into three branches, or parts. The executive branch, led by the president, handles most government business and departments. The legislative branch, consisting of the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives, makes laws. The judicial branch watches over the U.S. courts and the legal system. The three branches sometimes cooperate and compromise. At other times, they oppose each other. The Constitution is made up of 7 sections. One of these explains the role of the judicial branch and describes the kinds of legal cases the federal courts handle. For example, they take cases for or against the U.S. government, cases between states, cases that involve violations of the Constitution, and cases that involve breaking federal laws. Organization and operation of the judicial branch. The judicial branch consists of the system of federal courts. They include district courts, U.S. courts of appeals, and the Supreme Court. Each court is managed by one or more judges. Most federal cases start in a U.S. district court. There are 89 U.S. district courts across the United States, at least one in every state. There are also 5 district courts in U.S.-controlled territories. Some federal cases result in a trial by jury, in which a group of citizens hear the case and make a judgment. Other trials, known as bench trials, involve the judge acting as both judge and jury. The losing side may not agree with the court's final decision. Once a ruling is made, lawyers for the losing side may ask a court of appeals to reconsider the decision. 13 U.S. courts of appeals exist across the country. The purpose of the appeals courts is not to redo the trial. Instead, a panel of 3 judges reviews decisions from the district court. They decide whether each case was handled properly. Depending on what they find, they may uphold the ruling. The Supreme Court of the United States, located in Washington, D.C., acts as the top appeals court. Each year, thousands of people ask this top court to consider their appeals, but very few are taken. The Supreme Court judges, known as justices, carefully study each case they agree to hear. They also take part in arguments in which they listen to lawyers for each side and ask questions. They later vote on the case to decide the winning side. The Supreme Court often deals with the most challenging legal cases. A Supreme Court decision can help shape the U.S. government and even American society. Notable Chief Justices. 9 justices are on the Supreme Court today, including the Chief Justice. Important justices who have been on the High Court include John Jay, served 1789 to 1795. Jay served as the first Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. John Marshall served 1801 to 1835. The longest-serving Chief Justice in Supreme Court history, Marshall helped establish early American law. William Howard Taft served 1921 to 1930. The former U.S. president is the only person to have held both offices. Louis D. Brandeis served 1916 to 1939. Brandeis became the Supreme Court's first Jewish justice. Earl Warren served 1953 to 1969. Under Warren's leadership, the court oversaw expansions in civil rights and federal power. Thurgood Marshall served 1967 to 1991. Marshall became the first African American justice on the Supreme Court. Sandra Day O'Connor served 1981 to 2006. O'Connor became the first female Supreme Court justice. Sonia Sotomayor served 2009 to present. Sotomayor is the first Hispanic Supreme Court justice. The courts in action.
All right, and that is where we're going to stop today. Let me get my camera back up here and go to what you are seeing in your packet. So as I said, I've got the wrong one open. Just hold on a second. This is the first day we're reading about the judicial branch. And so it would be day 1 of the judicial branch. And so you're going to be asked about some vocabulary, I can tell you for sure. Let's wait till this gets pulled up here. There we go. So it says, we're going to read pages 1 through 10. We already did that. We're going to answer this question. What different types of courts exist within the judicial branch? What do each of these different courts do? So you have to talk about the different types of courts and what they do. Then you've got 4 words there: judicial, lawsuit, ruling, and violation. Those are all words that you're going to fill out the next sheet for, which is, as you know, those vocabulary cards that you've done already in the past. And all of those words, once again, are found in the glossary of your text. So I'm not asking you to do something that you're not capable of doing. Then we have opinion writing this week. So all the examples that are given about opinion writing this week are about a different topic. They are going to be about bees. Now, you are not writing about bees. You are writing about pizza. And within your packet, there are different articles about pizza. There's a separate little stapled copy about pizza. So you need to use the information from the pizza articles to help write your opinion about schools and should schools serve pizza for lunch. So you've got a lot of information and facts in there that should be able to help you come up with an opinion. Today, the only job that you have is to do research. So it says that I want you to think about and make a decision whether you think that schools should or should not serve pizza, and then go through and underline and highlight some of that important information. All right? So if you need any help doing this, please let us know. Understand that this is an article about bees. Now, this is just an example of a good opinion essay. You're not writing about bees. You're writing about pizza. Okay? Those are examples there. So understand you're going to be writing about pizza. And tomorrow we'll fill out an outline like this that's about pizza, not bees. If you have questions, please give me a call, text, email, let me know. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.